It's Friday. It's Shoot the Shit with DSP, STS with DSP. I'm DSP, David Scott Peters, and I'm thrilled you're here to join me on another Friday morning. It's kind of crazy. I was sitting here thinking, waiting for the 2 minute countdown to go by. I go, it's kind of crazy that I get here and I go live on Fridays. Like, how many of us think, hey, let's go live on Fridays? Must be a screw loose inside my head. Anyway, welcome to Shoot the Shit with DSP. We'll get started here in a second, but do me a favor, make sure you're logged into your Google account so you can participate in the YouTube chat. You can ask questions when I'm done with my portion. You can tell me good morning, tell me all the good things that are going on in your life. Let's see who has joined us. We have the one and only Mary DeLeon in the house. Good morning, Mary. It is good to have you this morning. I was up early, but that's what I do. Today is the only day I don't go to the lake to row. And I still wake up like 4 o'clock in the morning instead of 3 o'clock. And somewhere around 5 o'clock, I was on my computer and it looked like you were on your computer. What the hell are you doing up? You've got summer. We got Muddy Waters Gastropub in the house. Good morning to you. Awesome to have you. We have, let me go backwards here. Christy Carter's in the house. Christy, good to have you. Welcome to STS with DSP. Didn't I just talk to you just the other day? I swear. All right, we have the Steve Eller in the house. Are you on the road today? Was it today or tomorrow? When do you take off? When do you start driving to and through Alaska? It's crazy talk. What the things that make you happy, my friend? I don't know. I'm glad we all have our own things. We've got VaporX, aka Mastermind, aka Bob in the house. Good morning. When in doubt, ask Claude. Hey, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, like there's so many now. There's so many options for us. Christy says, apparently it's still early for me because I can't spell. Yeah, me either. And she also says, laugh out loud, my first time watching on STS. I know. I'm aware it's your first time with Shoot the Shit, but here we are. Here we are. Bonding yet another time this week. 3 times in 1 week. What the heck? We've got Steve Eller says, Alaska Adventures starts bright and early tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day. Dude is going to travel across Alaska. That's his summer work plan. He's got this customized van with satellite and everything, and I don't give a shit where he's working from, right? I mean, as long as the work gets done and people are taken care of, that's all I care about, and that is what he will do. David Schlotter's in the house. Long time no see, friend. Yes, long time. Is the new job going well? I want to know, are you enjoying the pet side of the world? Have they promoted you to the marketing director from your initial systems person yet? Are you doing more than you expected? I'm guessing so. And I don't know. I'm not going to the 4th of July regatta, so I won't see you this year in Philly. I could have seen you at the Brewers conference, but I forgot. I was too busy trying to figure out how I was going to get on the water with a buddy of mine from college. So I'm going to apologize. I'm going to apologize right now on that one. So we're going to get ourselves started here. Let's get this going. We're going to zoom in. We're going to do this. We're going to get going. Welcome to Shoot the Shit with DSP. STS with DSP happens every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, live on YouTube, travel schedule permitting. We're going to invest about 30 minutes every day to get pumped about the upcoming week and get excited about crushing your goals and finding the motivation to be the best you possible. Plus, I'll answer your burning questions. I'm Dave Scott Peters, creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula and your coach. And as a reminder, before we dive in, make sure you are logged into your Google account so you can participate in the YouTube chat. That way, if you got questions, a comment, or you want to tell me I'm full of it, lovingly, of course, you can jump in and be a part of the conversation. Now, let's get into today's topic. Most restaurant pros are looking at, well, the wrong reports. There, I said it. They look at sales, they look at labor, they might look at food costs once the accountant sends the numbers back from the land of confusion 3 weeks later. But there are 3 reports that can show you sloppy controls, weak management, training breakdowns, and yes, sometimes theft, way faster than a P&L ever will. No sales, transfers, comps. And before anybody gets twitchy, I'm not saying no sale means someone is stealing from you. I'm not saying every comp means your team is robbing you blind. I'm not saying every transfer is some elaborate Ocean's 11 restaurant version of crime. But I am saying this: patterns tell a story. And if you're not reading the story every day, your restaurant may be leaking money while you're busy staring at top line sales and wondering why there's nothing left in the bank account. That's the part that makes me nuts. Restaurants pros say to me, they say, David, I think my margins are shrinking. And I might ask, are you looking at your no sales? No. Are you reviewing comps by shift? No. Are you looking at transfers? No. Then what are we doing here, my friend? Guessing, praying, burning sage over a POS system? These reports are not glamorous. Nobody opens a no-sale report and says, ooh, this is sexy. But they are powerful because they help you catch problems close to the moment when they happen. Not weeks later, not after your food cost is blown, not after cash is short, not after your best employee turns into your biggest liability because nobody was watching. Let's break this down. First, no sales. A no sale happens when somebody opens the cash drawer without ringing in a sale. Now, there can be legitimate reasons for that. Maybe they need change. Maybe they made a mistake. Maybe a manager opened the drawer for a valid reason. Fine. But here's the key question. Is there a pattern? One no sale may be nothing. 10 no sales during one bartender shift? Now we have something to talk about. No sales become a red flag when a cluster around an employee, a certain shift, a certain days, or certain times. For example, if Saturday night has a pile of no sales after 9 p.m., don't shrug that off and say, well, it was busy. Busy is not an excuse for sloppy controls. Busy is exactly when controls matter most. Because when it's busy, people cut corners, managers stop washing, cash handling gets loose, and anybody who wants to take advantage of chaos has a perfect little playground. What should you look for? Look for high counts of no sales by employees. Look for no sales happening right after cash transactions. Look for no sales during a shift change. Look for no sales near close. Look for no sales tied to one terminal or one station. And look for vague explanations. Why did you open the drawer? Oh, I don't know. That is not an answer. That's fog wearing a server apron. You started this business and said, I'm going to run this business, but I need controls. So your standards should be simple. Every no sale must have a reason, and your managers should know what happened. Not because you're trying to create a police state, but because money controls they're not optional. They're a non-negotiable. Next are comps. Comps are dangerous because they often hide behind good intentions. A guest had a bad experience. Food took too long. The kitchen made the wrong item. The server forgot to ring something in. A manager wants to make it right. That's all a part of hospitality. I'm not telling you to stop taking care of guests, but I am telling you that uncontrolled comps will chew through your profit like a raccoon in a dumpster. And again, this issue is not one comp. This is the pattern. See, you want to review your comps by shift, by manager, by server, by reason code, and by dollar amount. If one manager has twice the comps of every other one else, well, you need to know why. Maybe they're overcompensating because they lack confidence. Maybe the kitchen is melting down on their shifts. Maybe servers are using guest complaints as a reason for, or garbage reasons for making mistakes, and they don't want to own them. Maybe there's a training issue. Maybe there's theft. You don't know until you look. And this is where most restaurant pros fall asleep at the wheel. They see total comps for the week and think, this doesn't look too bad. No. Totals hide the truth. You review comps by shift because shifts reveal behavior. Monday lunch and Friday dinner are different animals. A $300 comp total for a week might not scare you, but if it was $240 for one of those shifts with one manager tied to the same reason code, now we're not looking at totals anymore. We're looking at a management problem. And here's another thing to watch: lazy reason codes, guest satisfaction, manager comp, other. Those are where accountability go to die. If everything is other, then nothing is being managed. Your reason codes should tell you exactly what happened. Wrong item, long ticket time, service issue, kitchen error, guest recovery, training meal, owner approved, promotion, whatever fits your restaurant. Make it specific enough that you can see the truth. Because the goal is not to reduce comps. The goal is to understand why comps are happening. If comps are coming from long ticket times, you may have a kitchen execution issue. If comps are coming from wrong orders, you may have a training or communication issue. If comps are happening under one server repeatedly, you may have a performance issue. If comps spike when a certain manager is working, you may have a leadership issue. See the difference? Bad restaurant pros say things like, stop comping so much. Good restaurant pros say, show me the pattern so we can fix the cause. Now let's talk transfers. Transfers are one of the most overlooked reports in the restaurant. A transfer is when an item, check, table, or tabs get moved from one server, bartender, section, revenue center, or check to another. And again, transfers can be totally legitimate. A guest moves from the bar to a table. A server gets cut and transferred tables. A bartender starts a tab and the guest moves to the dining room. A manager cleans up a mistake. Fine. But when transfers are not controlled, they create a beautiful hiding place for errors, confusion, discounts, missing items, and theft. Transfers can muddy the trail. And when the trail gets muddy, accountability gets slippery. What should you look for? Look for transfers between employees. Look for transfers happening late in the shift. Look for transfers tied to voids and comps. Look for transfers that happen right before closeout. Look for excessive transfers from one employee. Look for transfers from bar to dining room when alcohol accountability gets fuzzy. Look for open checks moving around like they're on a bar crawl. And please review this by shift. Because if Tuesday lunch has 3 transfers and Friday night has 47, that tells you something. Maybe Friday night is legitimately chaotic, or maybe your floor plan, service process, manager presence, checkout procedure, or training is broken. Either way, that's just how Fridays are is not an answer. That's a surrender flag. Transfers need rules. Who is allowed to transfer checks? When can they do it? Does a manager need to approve it? What reason must be entered? How do the closing managers verify it? If you don't have rules, your POS becomes a junk drawer with credit card slips, and then wonder why nobody explains what happened. Here's the bigger point. No sales, transfers, and comps are not just theft reports. They are control reports. They show you whether your restaurant is being managed or merely supervised. And that's a huge difference. Supervising is being in the building. Managing is knowing what happened in the building. Supervising is walking around saying, how's everything doing? How's everybody doing? Managing is reviewing the reports and asking, why did we have 14 no sales between 8 and 10 p.m.? Supervising is reacting after damage is done. Managing is catching the pattern early enough to coach it, correct it, or cut it off. That's the game. And let me be clear. The goal is not to walk into the restaurant Monday and start accusing people. That's amateur hour. The goal is to build a cadence, a rhythm, a system. Because when your team knows the reports are reviewed Every day, behavior changes. Funny how that works, isn't it? People tend to respect the system that is actually inspected. Not mentioned once in a meeting, not buried in a handbook, not talked about when something blows up. Inspected every shift or daily at the bare minimum. Here's your Monday action. Create a cadence for reviewing no sales, transfers, and comps. At the end of every shift, the closing manager should review those three reports: no sales, transfers, comps. They should note anything unusual. They should be able to explain patterns. They should document anything that requires follow up. Then, daily, at the bare minimum, the restaurant pro, you, the owner, or the GM reviews the same information by shift. Not just by day, by shift. That's the magic phrase here today, by shift, because by shift shows you where the problem lives: breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night. Monday versus Saturday, manager A versus manager B, bar versus dining room, server versus bartender. That's where the truth is. Now, what do you do when you see a pattern? First, ask questions. Don't accuse, investigate. Help me understand why we had 9 no sales on your shift. What happened with these 3 guest satisfaction comps? Why were these checks transferred after closeout started? That language matters. You're not storming in like a detective in a bad cop show. You're creating accountability. Second, look for supporting evidence. Comps, or I should say, let's go back this. Compare your no sales report to cash over shorts. Compare comps to guest complaints or ticket times. Compare transfers to employee discounts. Compare the report, ready, to camera footage if needed. Compare patterns across multiple shifts. You're building a picture. Third, coach or correct immediately. If it's training, train. If it's poor judgment, coach. If it's sloppy management, hold the manager accountable. If it's theft, handle it professionally and protect the business. But don't ignore it. Ignore it is how small leaks become flooded basements. And here's the truth restaurant pros need to hear. You don't need more reports. You need to use the reports you already have. Most POS systems are sitting on gold mines of information. And restaurant pros treat them like expensive cash registers. That's a waste. Your POS is telling you what your people are doing. Your job is to listen. No sales tell you when the cash drawer is being opened without a sale. Comps tell you where money is being given away. Transfers tell you where accountability is being moved. Put these 3 together, review by shift, and you start seeing patterns fast. And when you see patterns fast, you can act fast. That is how you protect your profits. That is how you tighten controls. That is how you develop better managers. And that is how you stop running your restaurant based on your gut feelings and start running it based on facts. So this Monday, don't make this complicated. Pick your cadence. Every shift is best. Daily is a bare minimum. Assign who reviews the reports. Define what must be explained. Require notes and anything unusual. Review by shift. Then follow up. Because remember this, what you don't inspect, your team will eventually neglect. And when it comes to no sales, transfers, and comps, neglect, well, it gets expensive fast. That's it for today's topic. Now let's get into your questions. All right, everybody. As I always do, I'm going to throw up that QR code if you want to learn about our coaching programs. Make sure you take your cell phone, scan that with your camera, click on the little note that comes up, get yourself on a calendar with Ryan James. He's our success coach. He can help you define what your prime cost is, what your challenges are, and let you know if we can be here to help. because we're not a fit for everybody. I like to think we are. Now I've got a bunch of comments coming in here. I've got some questions. So David Slaughter said, the job is great. Definitely more than I expected. I'm sure. It's new. You were comfortable for a while there. Mike's in the house. What's going on, Mike, my friend? Good morning, DSP says. Good morning to you. David also says, hope all is well. Got the email. You were live and had to stop by. I'm glad you did, my friend. Missed seeing your face. Last seminar wasn't the same without you. Mike says, enjoy Alaska, Steve. We're talking to Steve through me. Bob says, must be suffering Dangleclax? Must be suffering Dangleclax. I don't know what a Dangleclack is. Mike says, great thoughts as always, DSP. I have never looked at transfer reports. We'll look today. Oh yeah, the 3. I'm telling you right now, it's not. It's one of those lessons that I have in the member directory. It's kind of, dare say, a throwaway. It's in cache controls, and I don't know that many restaurant owners are like, oh, I got to go look at cache controls, but it's important. Bob says, if you don't look, don't be surprised. Yep. And Mike follows up, not a right fit for anyone who doesn't own a restaurant, a fit for everyone else. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Appreciate you very much. But you're also somebody who takes action. You're in the RTF program, killing it. And that's mad respect for you. Mad respect for you and the work you do with Mary and Steve. So good on you. Team's got nothing here. It is time for your questions, your comments, your concerns, anything I can work with. In the meantime, I'm going to do a quick look at my calendar and verify if we have an STS next week. There is a Shoot the Shit next week. So that's good news. I think it's a week after I've got regionals, regatta in, where am I going? Bend, Oregon, right? Bend? Eugene? Gosh darn it, Eugene. Anyway, I'm going up there. I'm going to row. I'm going to be gone for a week. Any questions, any comments? How many people we got on here? Oh, we got a whole bunch of you. Now is your time. Now there's this 15-second delay, at least that I've noticed. When I go live and I look here on my iPad and see when if I move my hand like this, I can look over here and 15 seconds later, I move my hand. So I think you've got the same delay. I just got to make that assumption. It's fun going live. Any questions? Any comments? Anything? I do want to share with you, we're in the process for my members who are on the Zoom. We're not on the Zoom. We're live. We're on YouTube. Who are here on the live. We are slowing down. We're about ready to release a new website and a new member site, and we need more internal training. So I'm slowing that process down. I get excitable. I want to get it out to the masses, but we're slowing that down. So give me a couple weeks to get that going. Maybe even, don't be surprised if I hit July. With that said, we're excited about those changes. I'm also excited to share with you right now, we are in the process of literally this week making a decision. We have stumbled over 23 years of my coaching and learning, an excellent way, a systemized way to get your people to do work in your restaurant, your managers to follow through. And we unleashed that to our Mastery Plus group last week, and it went over swimmingly. And I felt like a dunce. I've been doing this for 23 years, and I put together a step-by-step system now. 7 steps, or as my good friend Tracy Carter wants to say, 7 pillars. I'll see if I adopt the pillars part, but it's 7 steps that you can ensure, you can find the gap of why people aren't doing the work. So much so that we're in the process right now. I've been working the last 2 days, and I'm going to go through the weekend to verify. But I think the 2-day seminar is going to turn into a 3-day workshop. And it may even be this December 1. I may be changing that. I've got to get to contact with the venue and go from 2 days to 3 days. And I'm going to remove some content and add a ton. That you walk away with a 30-day plan. That you walk away with a plan that you know and you can execute these 7 steps, these 7 pillars, if you will. And you're going to go home with a plan to make change. You're going to roll up your sleeve, instead of following on and taking notes, you're not just taking notes, you're putting your plan together while sitting there with me. And all 3 days are, the way I've put it together so far, are you cannot miss. One day leads to the next day, that you leave with a plan. Really thrilled about it. I will keep you posted. But right now, that 2-day seminar that is expected to come up, expected to have a different name, expected to be completely different, expected to be 3 days very soon. I should know by August, but I'm really working towards over the next couple weeks because I'm ADHD, undiagnosed ADHD. So now I'm like a dog without a bone. I've been working on it for hours and hours over the last few days here. Muddy Waters says, difference between void and comp transactions. What is the difference? So, great question. A comp is anything I serve to the guest and I discount on the POS system. So, oh, hey, you didn't like your burger? Let me take that off your check. I'm going to comp it. It's going to remain on the ticket. It's going to remain in the POS system. It's going to remain as a part of food cost and food sales the way it should. So it's something I deliver and I say, I don't want the money. A void is a server rings cheeseburger, but hits 2. Doesn't pay attention. Next thing you know is running back to the kitchen. Don't make. Too freaking late. The burger was made. There's now 2 cheeseburgers in the window. 1 was only needed. So I'm going to void the second burger. It was a sale that should not have happened. I'm going to deliver the 1 burger, but the second burger is not a comp. I'm not giving to them for free. What's going to happen is it's going to jump on a waste sheet, or it's going to become a manager meal, just like that. With that said, it's a transaction that should have never happened. Avoid it. So it never happened. A mistake. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. It was a great question. Christy Carter says, it will be awesome putting this into place in our restaurant. Tracy has already started implementing it. Slow down, Tracy. I swear to God, we just went through the 7 pillars, dude. Come on now. You call them seven pillars. I might adopt it. I'm still thinking 7 steps. I don't know. I'm working on it. But yeah, it's pretty easy. In fact, most POS systems, I think you can actually set up reports to print out automatically at the end of a shift, and you can put those in there. At least that's the old school way we were able to do it. Mike says, the 7 steps are powerful. I realized I missed 2 that made the difference. Yeah, I understand. Mike, I took 3 hours in a Mastery Plus meeting to deliver that slide deck. And I heard Steve delivered it in like 20 minutes. It's powerful, man. Like I'm telling you right now, I told the group, I was like a kid in a candy store, excited about it. And I felt like a dunce. I've been doing this for 23 years. And one of those symptoms, one of the things we miss is we announce systems. We put it in a binder. We tell everybody about it. We train people. And I'm guilty as a coach of walking you through that procedure and missing the final step. The aha moment was when it's truly trained, it changes behavior. Like fudge. You know, I don't use the word fudge. I use the proper read, but today I'm thinking about it. I don't know why. So, like all the things, the ahas, 23 years of coaching was just like, boo, a spotlight. So I'm glad that even Steve can deliver a 3-hour presentation in 20 minutes and you got the picture. So do know for my members on here, I'm going to do a live webinar, and I'm probably going to make it a 2-3 hour training and go through that. And it's going to become the very first lesson in our training library. The very first. Because we're going to change how we coach. We're going to be able to turn that last page, the 7 steps or pillars for Tracy, slide it across and go, which one of these things, where's the gap? Truly answer it live. In fact, we're going to bring back something I used to do years and years ago called a hot seat. So when I turned it into a 3-day workshop, we're going to bring people up and we're going to go through and we're going to find their biggest challenge and go through those 7 steps. We're going to help them change. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. Bob says, dangle cakes equals tech problems. Yeah. Bob, I called tech problems when I was in software. We used to call them ID10T errors. The letter I, lowercase d, the letter T. I'm sorry. Let me go backwards. Not letter I. The letter 1, the letter 0, ID 10, ID 10. Yeah, letter I, letter D, small lowercase, the number 1, the number 0, lower a underscore, and then the letter T, lowercase. If you write that out, it spells idiot. So when somebody go, hey, this isn't working, I go, oh, that must be an IT10T error. Anyway, I jest. Steve Eller says, ID10T, yeah, he wrote it out there. It could be the letter I, but it basically spells idiot. Let's see here. Mike puts a P in there. Is the P a smile? I'm not sure. There we go. Steve put it out there. ID 10T. I'd put an underscore to put the T out there just to make it look more official. We'll get there. Mary did it. Here we go. See? There you go. My team's going to throw it up there. That way I throw it up on the chat and it's on the live. Anyway. One more question we have here, or comment. Mike says, when are you going to create a DSP AI? Let me know if I can help. So much value in your 20 plus years of coaching to train with it. Mike, I'm going to turn you over to Steve. Steve has been working on it. So if anybody has not been playing with AI, you should. But think, I've got years and years and years, just this business, 6 years of coaching transcripts, live transcripts, group coaching call transcripts, PowerPoints, freaking my book, special reports, articles, blog posts, all of it, YouTube tips, podcasts. We are already loading that in, and Steve is in the process of creating that. So be on the lookout. But Mike, I will volunteer your help with Steve, because I'm going to be volunteering Tracy's help with some other things with me. So I will volunteer you guys all day long. I am not too proud to ask for help. But great idea. Great minds think alike. Bob says, it's not STS. It's give a shit. I like it. I like it a lot. Well, my friends, that concludes our portion of Shoot the Shit with DSP. I will see you next week here live on YouTube. Next week, I don't think so. I think I'm racing. With that said, I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm very thankful for you. I'm going to look at this one last comment that popped up. Mike says, at Steve, if an AI team can help, let me know. Yeah. We'll let you know. With that said, we're going to go back to, it is time to leave. Go kick some ass. Remember, your Monday action. Look at those 3 reports. Could be revealing to see patterns. You might even see some good stuff. Go out there, kick some ass, everybody. Peace.